Hello. We have had a mystery on our hands this week. The scholars in this room are the crew of the mighty ship, the Envisioner, while in search of an ancient treasure.
We were marooned on an island, and a key part of our navigational map went missing. Of the whole crew, we have considered 4 suspects.
Today you will hear the evidence collected against Dr. Smart and Shipwright Neff.
Hi, we are medical examiners A and B. Dr. Smart called us because after the shipwreck, people were injured. They had splints and slings for their fractured and sprained limbs.
Here is how to splint up someone's arm. First, you unwrap the splints. Then you measure the size of the arm. Then you fold it to make it even. So after you fold the shape, next you fold it to make a curve to make a human arm shape. After you curve it, you add on the crew member's arm to make sure it's secure on the crew member's arm. Then you wrap the wrap tightly on the arm so it's nice and secure. Then last, you add the sling on splint nice and securely.
I'm Medical Examiner B. This is a model lung. We had to use it because someone's lung had collapsed. Dr. Smart asked me to help out. We made it out of clay, a straw, clear cup, and 2 balloons. The green balloon represents the lung. The straw represents the trachea, and the purple balloon represents the diaphragm. Watch as the balloon deflates when I push the diaphragm in, and then when I bring it out, it blows up again. That's how a lung works.
We built the robot because on a part of the island it was rocky and just annoying to walk on, dangerous with venomous snakes. We lost 2 crew members on the island. The first one was called Shipwright Robert Neff. Robert Neff, and the next one was called First Mate Signey Young.
Here is how I program my robot. First, I had to go on this app called Blockly. Then I made it so it would drive around, and if there was something in front of it, it would back up and turn. For example, turn right, turn left, light up red, light up blue.
The reason we built the truss bridge was due to the fact that there was flooding and a storm. As a result, we needed the robots to cross the bridge to the other island before their circuits absorbed the water.
And so we were given 19 straws and 27 paper clips to make this bridge. And so that way the robots on our Ambots can cross the bridge without getting water in their circuits, and they can do it safely. So as you see, I'm currently controlling the robot, and it's going to cross the bridge, and ta-da!
Hello, I will talk about how and why we crewmates dissected the heart. The reason why was one of the crew members had a problem with the cardiovascular system, stated in Captain's Log 6. How we did it was we first learned how the heart works, which I will show you now. So how it works is dirty blood comes up through the vena cava and down from the vena cava. But dirty blood has no oxygen in it. Then it goes into the right arterium, which whenever it gets filled, there's a sensor that will open the flap and let the blood come down into the right ventricle, then come up to the arteria, which will send it to the pulmonary artery, which is the lung, which should then lead to the lungs and come down to the pulmonary veins, into the left arterium, and come down and shoot up to the arteria and to the head.
On Wednesday, we had to treat a snake bite. First mate Sydney Young had been bitten above her ankle and was with shipwright Robert Neff. We concluded she was bitten by a Malayan pit viper. To show the crew, we made an example of what was happening with Young's blood. We used milk and lime juice to show how Young's blood curled. So what we did is we poured some of the lime juice into the milk, and the milk started to curl after a while. And we can just pour the rest in there and mix it, and then the blood starts curling, but here it's the milk curl.
We are the blood splatter analysts. To start this off, we did an experiment to tell the height that the blood dropped it from. The first height we did was 12 inches, as you can see here. The second height was 30 inches, as you can see here. And the last height was 66 inches. After we did that, we found out the averages and measured the blood. Then we compared to find how big the blood drops were to find the suspect.
We did this to show whose blood it was, but it could be anyone's because Young had a gash on her shin, but what if she was sitting down? Neff got cut on the side of his head, but what if he was bending over? Potter got cut right below his right knee, so it could have been him, but Dr. Smart got cut on his hand, and his hand could go anywhere, so this activity was no help to solve the crime.
I am a forensic scientist in charge of finding out what the mystery powder was that was found in the captain's room. The 4 powders it could have been were powdered sugar, cornstarch, baking soda, and cream of tartar. The liquids I dropped were water, vinegar, and iodine. Then I compared the reactions. I knew the mystery powder was cornstarch because it stained black and smelled like Play-Doh, like cornstarch. I tested if the mystery powder's pH, it was neutral and around 7, knowing Dr. Smart gave it to Neff for his skin, it had to be safe.
Hello, today I'll be talking with my friend about fingerprints. She will be talking about dusting fingerprints. The reason we did this mission was because in the crime scene with the map, there were 3 objects. One of those objects were a cup with fingerprints on it. We had to take off the fingerprints to see who did it. We matched up the fingerprints with the 4 suspects and it matched up with Dr. Smart. We got most of our evidence from Captain's Log 1. Now, for the 3 types of fingerprints. The first is a loop. About 70% of people in the world have loops. Loop fingerprints loop around and keep on following the same pattern. The next is whirls. About 25% of people have them. A whirl just twirls around and around and around the finger. Last is arches, and only about 5% of people have them. Arches, just as the name sounds, arches, and keeps on going up and more with more arches. It was a loop on the cup, and Dr. Smart had a loop and the same fingerprint. Now to my friend for more evidence.
Thank you, doctor. So here's how you do it. First, you take your cup of cocoa powder and gently dab the brush in it so that the bottom of it is covered in cocoa powder. You can get some of the extra off because we don't need a lot. Next, you get your cup with fingerprints on it. You dab this cocoa powder onto the fingerprints so all of them are a light brown color. Next, you get the tape. You put the tape on the fingerprint. Then, lastly, you take the tape off and put it on the paper. And voila, you have it, your fingerprint. It works, but it would have been better with real powder, but that's all they had. So now for the conclusion. Based on all the evidence our team group has submitted, we believe that Dr. Smart and shipwright Neff are guilty of stealing the ancient map.